Sydney-based Filipino artist Ed Aragon started out with pencil and paper. Now, he moves on to something a little more interesting. It's called the UV reactive paint. And he has a beautiful exhibit entitled Under Different Light, and it's currently at the Yucheco Museum. And to tell us more about it, we have Carla Martinez. She's the Information Associate of the Yucheco Museum. Thanks so much for having us today, Carla.
Thanks so much.
Before we go into the actual art of Ed Aragon, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the artist. How did you find him? Because he's all the way in Sydney, and yet you managed to get a whole exhibit out of him in the Yucheco Museum.
Well, Ed Aragon, the featured artist, is a friend of the museum, and his last exhibit in Manila was sometime in 2008, and for quite some time he was mulling another reunion show.
Okay.
So it was a natural choice that he exhibit here with us.
So the exhibit in 2008, was it the same concept, or did he do something different then? Was it also about the UV reactive paint?
No, it was also about, also using UV reactive paint, but with a different concept, different subject matter. This time, it's all about women, photos, archival photos of women, women in his life, or about the female figure.
Yes. Okay. So before we talk about what exactly is in it, let's talk about his UV
paint.
It's called UV paint because it's also partly the star of the whole exhibit. I know that he actually, you can buy it, you can buy UV paint, although he created his own with a chemist friend of his. And then how did he come to work with that?
It started about a few years ago in 2004.
Okay.
There was a restaurant in Sydney that asked him to paint some murals. And one of the unique features of that restaurant was that it was blacklit. That there were UV lights. So we thought, okay, how do you decorate this restaurant with this special kind of light? So that's when he thought, how about paintings that would show under UV light? So he asked a friend to help him create the pigments and started painting the murals. And since then, he's been experimenting with that kind of paint.
So he's experimented with it for a few years. And so this particular exhibit that he has is with the UV paint.
Yeah, the UV paint, although he's delving on a different kind of subject matter.
Right. And this particular one, as you spoke about earlier, was more about the women in his life. But so why is it called Under a Different Light?
It reflects it means something literal.
Yes, which is the UV reactive.
And the same, literally under a different light, under UV light, under black light. But at the same time, it gives people a chance to look at Ed Aragon, at this artist, under a different light. Because in Sydney, he's known as a cartoonist, as a caricaturist.
For the newspaper, right?
Yes, for the Sydney Morning Herald, for a newspaper.
And that's how he started in the Philippines as well.
Yes, his career is really in
cartooning. Pen and paper talaga siya.
And then he pursues painting as a pastime.
Yeah, but I guess artists always progress. They probably start out with one thing, and then of course they have to experiment with different things.
He's also into digital art.
Also, a lot of artists are into that now because I guess they're all moving into the 21st century as well. So Ed Aragon already has become a very famous artist in Sydney, hasn't he?
Yes, in Australia he's actually quite popular. Like there was this postcard series called Our Famous Australians. He created the entire postcard series. It's all about caricatures of famous Australians, and then they were printed onto postcards which people could collect.
But I'm sure that's not UV.
No, it's not UV.
He used his usual cartooning skills.
But that's the side that he's really known for.
Right. But well, with this UV,
this one's a different side to him.
With this UV reactive paint exhibit, you were talking about him using a lot of different women. Was there anyone in particular that he spoke of really fondly in the exhibit? Does he have a favorite one? I did see one of Maria Magdalena.
Yeah, it's one of the paintings in the galleries. What's interesting about the exhibit is that it really showcases all different kinds of women. Like he even has a portrait of his own mother carrying him as a child.
I didn't see that one. I'm gonna go back and look for that one.
There are also photos of Kalinga and Bontoc women, which he used as inspiration for a UV painting. And he's also invited Filipino Australian women to pose for him as a portrait.
And how was the reception of the Filipino audience to this particular exhibit? Did they like it a lot? Because it's really something that's different. I mean, I've never seen something like it, and it's always nice to see a new form of art. So was it?
People are really amazed by the fact that you can use UV, and that under regular light you couldn't see it, but under this special blacklight UV light, that's when the magic happens.
Right.
The only way you can see it is if you have a blacklight.
So how's that? If you do buy it, you have to have the installation in your house.
Well,
are these pieces being sold?
Some people have inquired about the paintings. In that case, they can contact the artist directly.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the setup that you had to do in the Yuchengco Museum for this particular
ask about that also.
Particular display, because obviously it has to be focused on blacklight. So what's the setup that you have here?
Yes, like the gallery is we had to make especially dark so people could really see the contrast between darkness and the UV light, because for people who have been to previous exhibits at the museum, the gallery is usually so bright.
Right.
And of course, we had to especially install black lights so that you can see the paintings. But rather than just put black light everywhere so that, and then okay, that's it, you can see the paintings, we thought it'd be nice if people could see the difference.
The contrast.
If you when you see it and when you don't. So we thought of having this black light tower that's spinning
almost
around,
a strobe light.
like a strobe light or a disco light spinning around the gallery, so that you can stand there and enjoy the paintings and then just watch the light go by.
Yes. Really, really beautiful. And until when is it? Because a lot of our viewers would probably want to come and check it out.
It's on view until April 20.
Okay.
So there's still about 1 more month.
We have a good month to go, because it's really just something that I've never really seen before, and I'm sure people will appreciate it when they get to see it, because I'm sure they'll be seeing it on TV, but it's so different when you're actually standing there.
When it comes to art or going to museums, nothing beats seeing the real thing. It's so much different in a book or online, or on TV. But if you see, there's nothing beats the actual
Spoken like
experience.
A true lover of art. Well, apart from, of course, Ed Aragon's beautiful exhibit, there are so many things happening in the Yuchengco Museum for 2011. Maybe you can give us a rundown of what you guys have in store for everybody.
There's our Masters Gallery at the ground floor, which has works by national artists and esteemed artists like Juan Luna. And later in the year, sometime in June, we're opening an exhibit about Rizal.
Okay.
Since Rizal is celebrating his 150th birthday this year.
I think maybe you can invite everybody to come check you guys out here at the Yuchengco Museum, because it's always good to, it's a nice thing over the weekend or when you have time to just check out some pieces of art.
Well, we'd like everyone to come to the Yuchengco Museum at RCBC Plaza. It's at the corners of Ayala and Buendia. If you want to learn more about the Yuchengco Museum or about Under a Different Light, you can call us at 889-1234 or visit our website at yuchengcomuseum.org.
Thanks a lot for having us, Carla.
Thanks so much,
Such a
Lexi.
beautiful museum.
You're very welcome.
And all the best. For comments, suggestions, or you want to see something on Cityscape, email us at cityscape.anc@gmail.com or look us up on Facebook. And that's it for this week. Join me again next time as we discover the best of the city scene. I'm Lexi Schulze. Thank you for watching Cityscape.